everybody! So here is Tiger Black again, and I'm here with my thingy on my hair because I just jumped out of the shower. It's Christmas, I know, so very Merry Christmas to everyone. I already celebrated, I'm Wiccan, so my celebration was Yule. So today I'm going to be a little bit of a Christmas Grinch. I'm not going to say that Santa doesn't exist, that's not what it is about, but I'm going to talk about science despite it's Christmas. So today is Science Day. So in my last video, I said that, first things first, I'm going to come back with a video about the third function, the mobilize function, and how it works growing it. I will talk about that one. It's just this thing is more important and more urgent in a way. So why did I say that socionics is pseudoscience, that psychology is a pseudoscience, and it's not a swear word? And why did I say that the most scientifically based theory is socionics? So, I think this is going to be a little bit long, but we need to make things clear. I'm going to make it as short as I can, but I'm very long-winded, so please bear with me. Scientifically based means, what is science? Well, let's say it this way. What is science? Science is numbers. Anything that is or can be quantified in numbers and counted, calculated through statistics is considered scientifically reliable. Science uses the scientific method. So we start from a hypothesis, we run a test, we get a result, and we get a theory. So that's how the scientific method works. How is this test run? Through numbers, statistics. That's how it works. But when we're talking about science, we're talking about something that does not contemplate nor accept anything that is absolute. There is no such a thing as absolutes in science. Anything that is scientific is going to be true in most cases. And most important, it can be refuted. Anyone, any scientist can come out of the blue and run a test and say that thing is not true in most cases. If it is that way, obviously. Why is this so important? This is important because we need to understand that when we're talking about something scientific, there is no such thing as absolute certainty about anything. There is what works in most cases. Example, human body, we know and we're taught in school that the human body has its organs disposed in a specific order and way, right from left. Some people have them reversed. There's people who have organs reversed left from right. Everything that is normally right is left, and vice versa. So if that kind of thing exists, does it mean that we cannot use the theory that organs are disposed a specific way or are located a specific way? No. We can use that because it is true in the great majority of cases. So that's science. That's how science works. What is pseudoscience? Pseudoscience is anything using science in a field that cannot be completely quantified. So it is scientific, it is scientifically based, but it's not completely reliable. It's slightly less reliable than regular science like the universe, the human body, maths, and all these things that are based on numbers, because it is a field that is not based on numbers, and that's psychology, for example. Psychology is considered a pseudoscience for this reason, because there is a branch of things, a set of things happening in the human mind that cannot be really truly quantified. First problem with psychology is the human mind itself. Meaning that what has been proven is that in most cases, a tested individual will lie to the person testing them. Meaning, if a person is being asked questions to figure out a specific trait in Socionics, they will probably lie about why or how they think about that thing. So a lot of things in psychology are based on observation. So it's up to the scientist looking at the person to figure out if that person is potentially lying and what they actually are doing in their mind. This is actually, again, partially scientifically based through a thing that is called linguistics. Linguistics, or the study of language, helps us figure out what a person is thinking through the words they're using and the order of words that they're putting in a sentence. Again, this has been done running tests on people that are potentially lying. But most of the time, they're not. So we think that in most cases, like 60%, I don't know. But anyway, in most cases, this applies as true. So there, you see, it's not as defined and specific as, for example, running a test about why the ball reached the hole in that time. It's not physical realm. We're talking about spirit or psychology. Anyway, we're talking about abstract. And whenever we're talking about abstract realm, it is not that possible to be specific about things and to quantify them. That's the problem, quantifying things. Science is about numbers. And if you cannot take a thing and make it a number with absolute certainty, well, with a very high certainty, because we said that science is never absolutes, if you cannot have a quite high certainty that that thing works that way, then it's not completely scientific. It is scientific based, but it's not scientific in nature, so it's pseudoscience. That's why saying that psychology is a pseudoscience or any other subject that is a pseudoscience is I don't know, swear word. It's not an insult. It only means realizing that not all things can be measured in numbers. And anyone who thinks that the entire human experience can be quantified in numbers, I think is not their mind very clear about how the world works. Probably. I don't know. Anyway, I'm questioning their rationality. That's what I'm basically doing. Also, there's another thing that I wanted to say. This is the important part about measuring, and now I'm going to talk about why Socionics. Well, that's based on one of my researches. That's why I picked Socionics over MBTI, even though Socionics is not accepted in Italy by general psychologists, whereas MBTI is. I did not find a lot of supportive material in terms of scientific articles supporting MBTI, but I did find bulks of material about Socionics. So when I find scientific material debating a subject from a lot of aspects, then that's probably more scientific reliable because studies have been run and tests have been made. Whereas MBTI does not have the same scientific backup in articles term. And in science, everything is expressed in articles. So what is not written in an article is normally not even considered a theory. So that's why Socionics over MBTI. And here is the other thing that is very important to say. When we're talking science, we do not give a freaking damn about people. Well, we're talking psychology. That's not what I mean. What I mean is opinions in science don't matter. So it doesn't matter if expert A is considered authoritative in that realm. If he's wrong and scientifically proven wrong, he is wrong. That's how it works. That's science. There's an expert because that person has specific trained abilities and knowledge in that specific realm. That does not make that person infallible. So that's why you can prefer an expert over another if you have a scientific mind, but you will never trust that person completely. Science is skeptic. If you're not skeptic, you're not applying science. ILIs, since we're talking Socionics, means MBTI INTPs, are, no, INTJs, sorry. MBTI INTJs, I was mixing up. So ILIs, MBTI ILIs and Socionics, MBTI INTJs are the most skeptical type, and they use both functions that are scientific in nature, which means cause and effect, which is not logic, and the logic of facts and numbers. So, facts and numbers with cause and effect. The most scientific mind you can find out there is the INTJ in MBTI. That's that. And so, what was I saying? INTJs will never trust a source over another a priori. How do you know what to use as which one to choose of all the theorists out there and all the experts according to in a topic where they're not agreeing? First base, social psychology. What works in social psychology normally works also in socionics. Socionics is very close to social psychology, and everything in socionics is actually based on social psychology. So if you don't find it in social psychology, it's probably a hypothesis being tested, and that's not reliable. It could be true, it could be true, it could be proven true over time, but it's not considered reliable at the time being. That's another good point of science. It can change over time. It's not absolutes. So another way you can choose is by personal experience and pointing that out. So in my personal experience, I know 300 of those people behaving that way, and they all have this kind of reason behind it. So assuming they didn't lie, and I'm not having to do with stupid sample of people that are all behaving the same way but are different from the rest of the world, I think that that one is true. But you have to know that this one is the least reliable of all options. Another one that is slightly more reliable but still a little bit not that very reliable is by comparing the different theorists and experts that you find in socionics, like Filatov, Golenko, Stratiskaya, Ovcharov. There's a lot of people out there. You compare them, Rainin, there's a lot of people. You compare them all, and you see which, the majority of them, where they are choosing, what they're saying, what does the majority say. Why do I not consider this reliable? Because that the majority agrees on something does not make it scientifically proven. So if it's not in social psychology and you have no answer in social psychology, there's probably no answer and no way to be 100% sure that that's the most reliable thing according to current knowledge. So which one you choose to do, it's up to you. But I wouldn't trust that in absolute. Also, when you're dealing with science or pseudoscience, do not grow too much attached to a concept because that can vary over time. It can change, especially in pseudoscience. So, concepts in this video, very important concepts. Science, no absolutes. Science is based on numbers. Science is statistics based. Pseudoscience is also scientific in nature, but not everything can be scientifically proven. There's a margin of abstraction that cannot be scientifically tested, so it is impossible to test it. But anyway, there's no absolutes in pseudoscience, or most of the time. Well, psychology is a very particular field because sometimes we do use absolutes that the forefathers created, but that's another story for another day. Anyway, moving on. There's no such a thing as an absolute authority again in science or in pseudoscience. So, experts are simply people who know more than others about a topic, but they're not infallible. So, these are the most important things to remember, and that's why when I say Socionics over MBTI, I mean I'm talking about something that is more scientifically based. It's more pseudoscience than MBTI. MBTI works a lot by absolutes. That's one of those things. So, this is everything I have about this topic. I hope it helped and it clarified a little bit why I keep saying that Socionics is scientifically based. And this is everything I have about this topic. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and sorry if I talked about something like this on a day like the 24th.